Not all dads are big and strong. In fact, coming in at number 4 in the countdown is a male that really gets henpecked.
How long have you known her? Pretending you painted those pictures out of your own head and all the time you were just copying the work of a real artist.
Our next contender lives on the flooded plains of Brazil, where so much rain falls that it helps if you can walk on water. And the jacana does just that. It's also called the lily trotter, for obvious reasons. But this bizarre bird is number 4 in the countdown because the male jacana is an extreme wimp. He's looking after a nest full of eggs, but his mate has disappeared. This female's a stranger, and she needs a new mate. But that's our male's worst nightmare. He can yell all he likes, but the foreign female is only after one thing: his eggs. The ultimate henpecked male can only watch as she smashes his family. The eggs he so carefully reared were nearly ready to hatch, but now they're lunch for the female. Having eaten, the female signals to the male that she's now in the mood for love. And with the most extreme amnesia in the countdown, the bereaved male mates with his baby killer. Later, she'll lay eggs in his nest, but because she has many partners on the floodplains, our dad will never know if he's rearing his chicks or those sired by another henpecked male. But strangely enough, the jacana isn't the only dad to raise someone else's family. This is a family of orphaned geese. They have a surrogate father, Canadian artist Bill Lishman. He had no trouble teaching his babies how to run. Teaching them how to fly required learning a new set of skills. Eventually, Bill learned to fly like a bird, so the next step was to take his surrogate family under his wing, literally. Bill Lishman was the first human to lead a flock of geese along their migration path. His babies followed him like they would their real father, when in 1994, he escorted 18 geese south from Ontario to Virginia. No wonder they call him Father Goose. It's a shame there's no Father Jacana protecting these chicks. For this henpecked male needs all the help he can get. The next contender in our countdown of extreme dads has a problem. In southern Africa, the rains have gone. These tadpoles are only 2 days old, but already their pool is drying up fast. It's lucky they have an extremely devoted dad. The giant African bullfrog. It's his job to protect his 6,000 children, and he finds an extreme solution to their problem. The bullfrog is number 3 in the countdown because he digs in to help his children out. His powerful legs can build a channel into a bigger pool, and so save his entire family from disaster. For some dads, bringing up baby can be really hard work. In fact, most human fathers have no idea how hard it will be. For some young men, the journey to fatherhood is no game. New York City high school student Richard Hammond is learning that looking after a baby can really upset your social life. As part of a community pregnancy prevention program, he's been given a baby for the weekend. But it's no ordinary baby. It's actually a cyborg with a programmable personality. Richard's part of a program called Baby Think It Over. Together with Carol Lambert from Reality Works Incorporated, Richard can learn how to change a baby's diapers without any of the mess. But there's much more to this baby than meets the eye. It was designed by a rocket scientist using state-of-the-art computer technology.
Inside the baby, what runs it is something called a microprocessor, which is essentially a small computer, and that's what controls baby. It's kind of the heart and soul of baby. Some of the different types of things that baby is able to do is it'll cry and request that the student feed it. It might need to have its diaper changed, to be burped, to be rocked, and it will also report how much it was cared for properly in terms of if it asked to be fed 6 times, was it actually fed 6 times, etc. So the reporting that the teacher gets back on how the student did is very detailed.
So what did Richard think of being a father for the weekend?
It was pretty hard because you couldn't really do what you wanted to do. You had to give your undivided attention to the baby at all times, and you couldn't leave it neglected. So it really was time consuming. My friends would call me and ask me, oh, why don't you come outside, play basketball, but I couldn't because I had to take care of the baby.
At least Richard doesn't have to care for his baby like another extreme father that lives in the forests of South America. Darwin's frog takes his paternal duties one step further than even the African bullfrog. As soon as the female has laid her eggs, it's the male's job to protect his family. So he eats the eggs. His family develops in their own special pond inside his vocal sacs. And there's a very good reason for this extreme behavior. For in this forest, there are plenty of predators that eat frogs, both large and small. Luckily, Darwin's frog has a cunning plan. He flips onto his back and plays dead. Once the danger's passed, he and his babies can swim to safety. And then, after 6 long weeks, this extreme dad gives birth by throwing up. These frogs really give new meaning to the phrase, bringing up the baby.